The Coalition of Domestic Election Observers has deployed about 8,000 trained, accredited, non-partisan observers. These observers are Ghanaians from every walk of life who have volunteered their time to help ensure that every registered voter casts his or her ballot freely and unhindered on election day. Of the 8,000 observers, 1,500 are parallel vote tabulation rapid response observers. The report focuses on the setup and opening of polling stations, as well as few incidents recorded as at the time of reporting. As regards arrival at polling stations, by 7 o'clock this morning, 81% of all CODEO observers had reported at their assigned polling stations. In 99% of polling stations where CODEO observers are located, electoral officials respected their status as EC's accredited election observers and permitted them to observe the polls. Only 1% initially had challenges, which were quickly and successfully resolved. Set up of polling. From CODEO observers, we indicate that 91% of polling stations were set up so voters could mark their ballots in secret. CODEO observers report that almost 96% of polling stations were accessible to persons with disability and the elderly. At the time of the setup, two main political parties had their polling agents present in almost all polling stations. NDC had 99%, MPP had 99.5%. Polling agents of the other parties and independent candidates were present only in some of the polling stations. Reports received from CODEO observers showed that in 90% of the polling stations, all election materials were available at the time of opening. According to CODEO observers, the voter register and biometric verification device were available in almost all polling stations. That's about 96 and 95% respectively. Cases where items were reported as not present were due to the late arrival of some materials. CODEO observers could confirm that in all polling stations, the presidential and parliamentary ballot boxes were shown to be empty, sealed, and placed in public view before the commencement of the voting. CODEO observers reported seeing uniformed security personnel at 88% of the polling stations. CODEO observers reported that voting generally commenced on time. By 7:15 a.m., over half of the polling stations, that is 60%, had opened. Another 33% opened between 7:16 and 8 a.m., adding up to 93% opening by 8 o'clock this morning. We have a few reported incidents which has happened at the polling stations. CODEO observers reported a few incidents, 27 in all, of intimidation and harassment at the polling stations. These are DA Primary School, CODEO in Kwanta, LA Primary School, Apaso, CMB Shed, Suswanso, CMB Shed, Suswanso, that's Tando North and Tando South. Then Town Hall, Cape Coast South, Taxi Station, Poissing Junction, Koransam, Achiase, LA Primary School, Abao Puso. Then Port Office, Achiraswa, Old Market, EAG. DA Primary School, Achabasu, Alajo Central Mosque, Presbyterian Primary School, Oyarifa, TB Contom, that's a big word for me, Kanbontuni, that is in Sabalegu. And then Illiteracy House at Banda. Other incidents. In Jaman North constituency, the entire election has been suspended as a result of disagreements by the political parties over the accuracy of the voter register. From the foregoing, CODEO in this preliminary situational report can confidently confirm that the arrangements put in place by the Electoral Commission for setup and opening of polls were adequate for most polling stations. So we conclude in continuing to receive reports from our networks of nationally deployed observers, and we will continue to release updated reports. Finally, CODEO appeals to all Ghanaians to remain calm and be law-abiding throughout the country. Thank you.